Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin, and some other assets, including Ethereum a little bit. Okay. And by the way, guys, if you just land here, do me a huge favor, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. New subscribers, I do appreciate you too. I'm going to go over some things here. This tech dev guy's got a bunch of followers, post some pretty decent stuff on Twitter from time to time. Um, and just look at that. And he was talking about this information here. He went through this Bitcoin guide where he's using, it looks like the Chinese bond and the DXY to get some data. I'm really not too sure how he's putting this all together. I'd like to get an actual chart of this and check it out a little bit more in detail. But here's the Bitcoin chart right here, and he's saying it's going to go up there. So this guy right here, I just recently started paying a little bit more attention to him. But back in June, I'll show you. I've had this on since I think July or August. Coming FOMO wave, and I still do believe that, guys. So let me go back to tech dev. Here's the deal. You can see while many are still looking to the next halving event as a starting signal for the major leg in Bitcoin next rise, to me, we saw this signal back in November, which indicated the start of the next liquidity cycle. After each of these prior 5 signals, Bitcoin has taken no more than 12 months to put in a major top. So go back to, let me see, the BLX over here. I'll show you guys something. Going over here to BLX, all right? So it goes more to my theory that Bitcoin is probably just based off the waves, the data, and analysis that I'm doing, that Bitcoin more than likely is just going to be making a shot up here, and it's going to be a fifth wave, guys. It's a 1, 2, 3, whether it's here or here, it's up for debate, and it's going up for a fifth. And that's kind of where I lost this guy. This is what he's trying to say over here. And he's reasonable too. He's very reasonable. Through history, though history is never a guarantee of future, only a probabilistic guide. So there you go. Right. He's going off probabilities, which is everything that I do is off probabilities, guys. There's nothing in the markets that's gospel. Nothing. This work has led me to conclude that the placement of the halving events and their apparent impact on price has likely been coincidental. And that's what I've said all along. It's a coincidence, guys. That's going to fall apart probably going into the future, in my opinion. There's nothing ever that easy in the markets. Oh, here's the halving. Let's go to the bank and get all our money and go buy as much Bitcoin as we can. It's going to go up. No way. It's been a coincidence, in my opinion. That's just how markets are, guys. As Bitcoin began to start one of these liquidity cycles from a top hit, long-term risk won't complain. So he's just, yeah, I agree with him there. You know, if you're buying right now, 3 or 4 years from now, you definitely are not going to complain with Bitcoin. Both are exciting for me at standpoint. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting too. I'm excited for the fact that if this does play out, because I've been calling for this actually prior to June of 22. I have video evidence of this. I said, hey, look, guys, there's a really good shot that Bitcoin is not going into a new cycle. There's a good shot that it could be going into some fifth wave that might just break the all-time highs, or maybe it's an extended wave like this wave over here, not this big, but something like that could be going up to make a cycle and then back down over here, guys. So that's how I'm looking at that with Bitcoin. And what I wanted to do is you have Bitcoin in this area and going through a little bit. I still think Bitcoin is still working on a 31,000 and it's going to pop up there, guys. And 32, there'll be corrections. And Ethereum finally decided to move. It looks like, what did Ethereum get to? What was it? I thought this thing told me it's high at some point. Maybe not. I thought this thing told you the high somewhere in here. You know, like the high that it reached. So let's see. Maybe this one does. Maybe not. All right. Well, so whatever. Bitcoin or Ethereum's almost hitting 2,000, and this is going to be a critical area. So it's coming up that area. It's got candle bodies above there on the weekly so far, guys. Let's see if it's the daily. We'll go over Ethereum. This is what I was looking for. I made a post on Twitter about that. It's not up there yet on the daily. So some of the altcoins are popping off a little bit. I wouldn't get too excited just yet, but this is a really good signal. And One of the things too, guys, if you understand the 5-wave impulse cycle, the 5-wave impulse cycle on Bitcoin or any asset, probably one of the reasons why some of these altcoins are doing well. And if you go, let's go to Bitcoin here on a weekly chart. Okay. One of the reasons why, and I have another idea that Bitcoin is going up for this wave, is that once it's complete, so Bitcoin is going to complete the cycle right here, right? There's your fifth wave peak. You see that in the RSI. There's your third wave, and that's your fifth wave peak. So cycle's over, that everything dies more or less, if that's the way you want to put it. So it goes up into another cycle. This one's a little bit more difficult to suss out, but that had a fifth wave blow off top. That's why I took that out right there from, I think, right here. And it dies. But the thing is if you have a 5-wave cycle like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever you want to put that 3, the fifth wave, it's still in the cycle. You see, it's still in the cycle. So that's why the altcoins, other coins are probably another reason why they're coming back to life and they're ready to rip. Because you have coins like Gala that already went up into a wave and it's in the second wave right now. Okay. As an example, that's Gala, guys. You have Gala. I'll just go over to Gala right now. Let's go over to Gala and I'll show you. You know, Gala's just sitting in its second wave, guys. We did daily chart. Let's take a look at this. Okay. So Gala made a reaction, a massive move off that bottom right there. Okay. Boom. And it's over in this area. And Gala is getting ready to do a third wave. You're going to have the RSI in that third wave, however long it's going to take. It might need to go up in another wave, back down, up in another wave, back down. And then finally, it's going to breach that. Okay. It's going to breach that, telling you that's the third wave in the RSI. But Gala's over here, you know, already set up to start doing a move. Okay. So that's probably what I'm saying is I'm explaining why one of the reasons why some of these altcoins, you know, are just starting to rip. Contrary to the belief that Bitcoin is going to take over the market, the dominance is going to go up, and all the other altcoins are just going to die, and you got to wait like 6 months or 9 months or however long it takes, you know, according to the old theory. So I think there's a little bit of a change here going on, guys. I'm not convinced of the whole 4-year cycle thing until we get there. I'll tell you one thing that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to wait for the halving to throw my money into Bitcoin. That's not very smart, guys. That's not very smart if you're interested, you know, making money in crypto right now. So more or less, think about this, guys. Let's go back over to Bitcoin and look at the Bitcoin chart. And what he said is a 12-month top potentially. So Bitcoin can make a top, let's say in 12 months. Let's just call it 12 months from now, right? Let's just say 12 months from now, Bitcoin makes a top. So here's Bitcoin on its way. Let's say it does another correction down to, let's say 25 as an example, below another correction, and it starts making its way up here, right? And then in, let's say February or March, where's the halving? Like March or April, May or something like that, right? So here's the halving. Everybody's paying attention to that. Let's say it does go up and make a fifth wave. And now it's going to multi-month correction. Think about that. So if you go over here to this time, well, let me get rid of that. If you go over here, guys, you know the interest rates. I've showed this in previous videos, and everybody was telling me that like when I was making my videos, and they said, hey, you're delusional. Interest rates are going to go up. There's no way Bitcoin can go up. Well, I've already proved this has already been debunked because Bitcoin came down to 16 and now it's up to 30, and it's nearly a 2x just on Bitcoin. Okay. That's not true. The other reason why assets go up is because there's more buyers than sellers. Okay. That's just how it works, guys. It's really that simple. The interest rate the whole interest rate thing, that's to scare people out of the market, regular retail to scare them out of the market. And if you research into it, guys, they knew this back in the 60s. They actually had articles about this, about the Fed, the Fed is using it as manipulation to get people out to bring the market down. Okay. They have no control over the markets. You're just controlling people's minds. So if you want to do a little dig and a little bit of research, there's a guy that wrote a bunch of articles about this back in the 60s about the joke what people think the Fed is actually doing when they're not really doing it. They're just scaring them or manipulating them into thinking that that's going on, guys. So, all right, that's really what it is. They just kind of the Fed will try to scare people into thinking that. So that's the deal with it, guys. So here was the deal. I lost my train of thought. I was going over here. Sorry about that. So anyhow, it goes up over here like this, right? And then it's going to do a correction. Oh, I was doing the interest rates. So over here, May of 17, I think is what it was. In this area, the Fed started doing interest rate hikes, okay, in this area. And it went up, it did this correction, and the Fed was still doing interest rate hikes. There's actually a lot of similarities between 2019 and in this area that we're in right now. Interest rates were going up. There's actually a pause somewhere in this area, and a pause, and it crashed. And then around April, this is when the Fed flipped and pivoted and went like this. Okay. It doesn't always happen like that, guys. Just be aware of that. Usually with a pivot, things go down, but this one went up. Okay. So the interest rates were going. They had 2 more rate hikes that they were going to do in 2019. And they were at the end of their rate hiking cycle in this area, kind of like over here. They're at the end of the rate hiking cycle. So it's going down, and now they're at the end of the rate hiking cycle, and it still went up and completed that impulse. Okay. So it's not unreasonable to think, based off the past, that Bitcoin could probably still go up. If it does a pause, the Fed does a pause, and it could still go up, guys. It's not unreasonable to think that. It really isn't. So I don't know. Just have to do a little bit of soul searching and doing a little of your own research of what possibly could be going on there with Bitcoin, guys. But anyhow, I'm going to go over MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy pre-market is at 328. It's up a little bit from 322. And MicroStrategy finally it looked like it's doing a diagonal type move out of there, guys. Okay, so rising wedge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these wedges where they like to correct to. If this is finished, it might not be. MicroStrategy is pretty volatile. It's more volatile than Bitcoin, guys. It's gone up more than Bitcoin. This has gone up more than Bitcoin, guys. MicroStrategy, 150%. I think what's Bitcoin, about 80 or 90%, something like that. So here's MicroStrategy wave 1, wave 2. And in my opinion, MicroStrategy has made another wave 1, and it'll come down for a 2, and it'll be going in like that, guys. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And then MicroStrategy could be going into a 3 of 3. Now, remember, this, just because I have the count 3 of 3, it's going to make a 3 of 3. So here's this 1, 2. It might make another 1, 2, and then eventually go into a 3 of 3. Okay. So MicroStrategy looks pretty good. That means MicroStrategy is doing pretty good. Probably Bitcoin's going to do pretty good. GBTC right here did a wave 2, 1, 2 right there. You can see all of this down here in the daily 4-hour RSI. You could check it on the daily too, guys. Go out to the daily. You see that RSI didn't take that out. So this is a different sequence right here. What that means is that the third wave is in the process of being made. So what I mean by that is that you're not going to know where your third wave is until this gets down, and it's going to go up and finally break that. And that's where your third wave peak will be. And actually, that actually won't be the third wave, because it's going to come down, make divergence on the third wave. And that's where the third wave peak will be, guys. Okay, right there. So GBTC looks pretty decent. Looks pretty decent to me. It's looks bullish. And I'm just waiting to see what's going to go, what's it doing in this area. Is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do have divergence from that peak to that peak. So here's some sort of fifth wave move. Looks like it's correcting it. You can see in this RSI, if that RSI gets down below there in that area, but the price stays up there, it's probably going to rip off another one. So in my opinion, you probably have a more bullish asset than people realize right here, because it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up to my box. So GBTC's hit all my targets so far. So far, so good. There. I already breached that. Now it's there, and then it's going to go there. And at the end of the day, guys, if GBTC, which is a proxy of Bitcoin, all I have is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is going to go up. Of course, with corrections, guys, with corrections. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to go straight up, but it's going to correct. It's not going to go up in a straight line. So where does that leave us with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is just got a little bit more. I'm looking at a 31,000 area for Bitcoin. I went over this briefly in the previous video, and I think that Bitcoin went to might struggle to make a wave up into this area. I'm still looking at 31-ish guys, and then maybe another correction, okay, for Bitcoin in this area, guys. So it looks pretty good. And now I want to go over Ethereum. Let's go over Ethereum because Ethereum decided to pop today. That's what I was waiting for. I posted on Twitter. We're waiting for this move right here, guys, because I put it in here. And Ethereum, in my opinion, is so you have your fifth. People are going to call that the end of the cycle. I think it's a new cycle, guys. I think it's a new cycle for Ethereum. So what I'm saying is that if you come here into the 4-hour chart, this on the RSI is your third wave peak back down. There's your fifth wave. Okay. So you take a look at that. You got to use the RSI here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a 5, and it's a correction. Okay. You see that there in the RSI, guys. And now you're over here in the RSI. So more than likely, let me take a look at the daily. You can see here's that whole wave peak right here, this wave peak, and it came back down, and now it took everything out. So more than likely, this right here is not a fifth wave. I know I looked at it. A lot of people are going to go, there you go. It's a fifth wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5. It took it out, guys. So I don't think so. I think you might have a more bullish asset than people realize. Once again, is that you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is a starting diagonal itself. So I was actually have it here, but this actually would be your diagonal, something like that. And then you put your little diagonal right here, just like so. And maybe something like that, guys. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the target would be back down to here if that's the end of it, guys, right there. And it can come all the way back down to the bottom too, 1700. Which, by the way, if it does do something like that, a nice drop down there would be nice to get that. Boom. But it might not, guys. Here's the other thing is, too, with this move, you want to be careful of these moves, too, because I am going less bullish, if you will. You just don't know if this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it can do that. Diagonals can be mistaken for a 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't think so, but you just never know, guys. You just never know. If this is 1, 2, it could be. That could get ready to rip. It really could get ready to rip, guys. It's happened to me before. I had a diagonal. If I was a diagonal, I was waiting for a correction on the diagonal, and then, on assets, and then it was just like it didn't even do it. It just went up, Caspa was one of them right over here. I'll show you guys. As an example, go to Caspa, I had temporarily exited out of Caspa because I thought that right down here, guys. You see? I was like, oh, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a diagonal. It's going to come back down here to correct, and it's going to go. Look what it did. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there you go. That's what happens right there in the diagonal. I'll show you right there. So you see? Like that. So is Ethereum doing that? Could be. It could be, guys. It could be getting ready to rip. It would be nice to see it correct, because you get more data instead of just start ripping out of there. But either way, it looks pretty good, guys. So here's the deal with the ETH BTC chart. Keep an eye on this. When is it going to start getting out of there, guys? I think it's getting real close. I think it's getting close. Is it done? 1, 2, probably 3, 4. I think it's got one more swing, but remains to be seen, guys. So he's here in the RSI. See how deep that came right here? It came down in that 5-way swing and ripped out of there. And you got 5, and then it looks like a little diagonal over here, ending wedge in this area. It came back down and reset that whole cycle over there. So I'm expecting something over here at some point in the future, guys. And that's when the altcoin season is going to come. Go back over to the Bitcoin dominance chart. And could be peaking, guys. Bitcoin dominance could be peaking. You got some bearish divergence right there. So third, fourth. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's got a couple more swings up, guys. I think it does. I think you can see it get up into one more swing, probably something like this, back down. It might get up a little bit. So let's say maybe it has something like this, maybe, you know, like here's a little 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, you know, and then it's going to go boom, dun, dun, and then, you know, you have your divergence like that, guys. Something like that, maybe. It's what I'd be looking for. Could be wrong, but once that starts doing this, now you take your Bitcoin dominance, gets up into there, and it can start doing this down over here, guys. Start making this trek, okay? And it's definitely peaking. I don't think it's going to whiz out of there too high. I saw some videos on some people. Just go to your weekly chart, and you can see right here, it's already up in that area, guys. That's the highest, almost the highest it's ever been, right there. There it went, right there. Be looking for something to get up in that area, guys. Probably peak in that area on the weekly. So a little bit more, and then maybe the EBTC chart start going up like that, and then this will be going down ever. You know, I don't think it's going to drop like a rock. I just think it's going to do something like this, guys. Boom, 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 something like that. Boom, 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 boom. You know, keep going down, and then every now and then, like in this area, Bitcoin dominance down. Then Bitcoin takes over for a little bit, down, takes over for a little bit, back down. Something like that's going to happen over here more than likely, guys. And altcoin season. Altcoin season will be coming on, and that'll be really, really nice for those that have some altcoins. And I'll go over some other coins too, guys, but it's basically they've been going sideways for a little while. Watching my video, you should realize you should have already been in these things long ago and been well into profits. I don't want to say it's too late to get in right now, but like it's a lot more risky to be getting into to some of these coins right now, guys. You know, probably, you know, even UFO gaming is pretty good. You know, these are going to take a little while to roll out of there, guys. UFO gaming, and then like maybe Veracity is in a really good spot. You know, just taking a look at that. Veracity is in a pretty decent spot, guys. You know, take a look at that right here. Here's this wave. It corrected down there, and it's going over in this area sideways. Now, these two, you want to be careful. These moves too, guys. You know, like you can easily say this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's going to come back down over here. But sometimes those things will rip too. So you just don't know until it plays out. I'll show you an example of that. Chili's did that, guys. Chili's did that back in June, I think. Here, I'll show you something on Chili's. Come over here to Chili's, right? You see how it came back around and went up into a wave, came back down. Could be making a diagonal, or it could be making 1, 2, 1, 2s or something like that. So you come over here, check this out on Chili's, guys. So let me clean this up a little bit. You see, look at this right here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or something like 1, 2, 1, 2. You see how it did that? Right over there. Look at over here. Boom, boom. See? Boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying there's a possibility it could do that, you know? Like, you could get a bearish count out of that for sure, but you could get a bearish count out of it over here too, right? Oh, that's ABC, man. It's going down to 0. And then look, boom. You see that? Boom, boom. And it went back up. So could be going on over here. And personally, I think the odds are that is going on over here. The reason why I say that is because you got a 5 wave here. Take a look at Chili's, right? Take a look at Chili's. Chili's is like Ethereum. It's just going to take a little bit more time. So you got your move here, back down, probably your 5-wave move. You got your 3-wave move. You got a 5-wave move. You got a 3-wave move. And now you're over here. And it's just going, oh, you know, regular investors, retail investors, whoever going, you know what? This guy on YouTube says it's going to drop like a rock, and we're all going to 0. S&P 500 is going to drop like a rock. NASDAQ's going to drop like a rock. I saw it, man. I saw it, man. They said it, man. 10,000 Bitcoin. I'm going to exit out of my Chili's. And then next thing you know, it's a boom. It goes like that. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor. Drop a like. Hit the subscribe button. Peace.